harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. This is for the Buddhists. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So you can think, this is, for the moment, this is my contribution to the peace and happiness of all beings, by taking precepts of not harming them, because then we don't disturb their peace of mind. Okay? So you can take these precepts every day if you want, on special days like full moon, new moon, or like Yom Kippur, or Christmas, or whatever. When you have weekend off. It's those people who have taken these precepts will take them regularly, because the cause for happiness is ethical conduct. So actually, even though you're hungry sometimes, but there's a kind of lightness also in your mind when you take precepts in the evening, or it will be, during the day or whatever. So it's great to take precepts. As we said, it would be great if people would have put interest into doing these very simple things. Not to kill, not to steal, not to gossip about others, not to take intoxicants, not to take other people's partners, not to cheat on your partner. And they would at least put some interest in being like that. Wouldn't it be wonderful? And as a spiritual practitioner, this is your first duty. Otherwise, it's like you become totally hypocrite, If you're not putting any effort into having self-awareness because you don't see what you're doing and how you are, and you call yourself a spiritual practitioner, it's like, you just go around harming others and behaving in whatever way, then you might be very good sitting in full lotus or whatever, but it's like absolutely not inspiring. It's by the behavior that one should recognize a spiritual practitioner. Okay? I don't like to say these things. It makes me feel like a mother. Okay, so do you have questions or comments about what we did today? Are there any questions in the written questions in the thing there? Huh? Yeah. Loud. Yeah, you need to speak loud.
That there will be no sickness, no hunger, no. But as I understand Buddhism, it talks about suffering, and suffering doesn't really happen from objective happening, but from your conception of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of naive, the prayer, may there not be this and then.
Yeah, very naive. I wish we would be more naive, actually. To have this wish may no being suffer. It's innocent and naive, but it's beautiful. What do you want to pray? May they suffer?
No, but that would.
Or I don't care, may they do it, it's not my business? What do you want? It's like... Now, wait. Can I repeat the question? So, it's like we can see that everybody suffers. Yes? Why?
No,
because
no,
we're creating the causes for the
no.
suffering. Yeah.
I wasn't talking about the cause of suffering. I thought Buddhism was talking about preventing suffering from oneself by the conception of suffering, not the objective suffering, like you would hear it says hunger, clothing,
It's necessities that we need. Without that, we can't survive.
death, blind.
May the blind see forms. May nobody have the negative karma to become blind. or deaf or whatever. Yeah.
But you can be deaf and still not suffer or be unhappy.
Okay, you just told me I don't hear well.
Yes.
Are you happy about this?
No, but I don't
Okay.
suffer.
Okay. Okay. But not hearing at all. Oh, I don't know if you have people who are old enough that they really don't hear anymore what goes on in conversations. You don't have anybody like this. Do you know somebody like this? How they feel excluded from society? You know, it's like, yeah, you can turn everything around and say, oh, luckily I don't hear what they're blabbering anymore about other people. Then you're very happy that you're deaf, of course. Of course. We're making the wish so that we open up our heart. What is wrong with this?
Because the world is created, that there are all kinds of things.
The world is created. In Buddhism, no, the world is not created. Unfortunately. We are creating the world. So we think whatever I can put in to make people happy, I will. And we strengthen that motivation with this prayer here. And nobody suffers. But again, this is what Buddhism says. If you find it naive and you say, nah, I don't want to say that, then don't. Very simple. Very simple. If it doesn't support your practice of good heart, by thinking, may nobody suffer, may the blind see forms, may the deaf hear sounds, may people who are worn with toil be restored and finding repose. If that doesn't inspire you, don't use it. It's just words. Feel free not to use it.
I want to understand.
I find it inspiring. More I can't say. To also, you see, the goal is that the goal is that the world has not been created. This is the thing. There's no force that has some omnipotence in Buddhism. I'm not saying that it's not there. I don't know. But the Buddhist view is that everybody is responsible for their own happiness. But also the Buddhist view is that we're all pure. All beings have this natural spaciousness, this natural happiness, this natural intelligence, this natural goodness, but it is covered. And when you have like outer difficulties, like it says here in the prayer, it's very, very difficult to uncover it. Now, I'm not saying, there might be blind people who are much better people than the seeing people. But it's not a guarantee. I prefer to see than to be blind. Blind people, they have to work really hard to be able to function in our world. So we wish for them not to have these problems. Do you see what I mean? And it kind of, because again, it's a Buddhist prayer. I thought maybe it was not so Buddhist, but now we say, yeah, it's very Buddhist. To really wish for the happiness of all beings. And I have to put effort into that, to liberate myself from suffering, so that I can lead others to that state. This is the goal. The goal is really, but when we think with our little box here and we see the world, we say, it's not possible. But the goal is that everybody can be liberated from all kinds of suffering. That is the view. That's the Buddhist view.
But it says that it's impossible to be happy if you're blind, or it's impossible if you're
Doesn't say that. Doesn't say that. It says, from your own side, may nobody suffer from blindness. May nobody suffer from deafness. You wouldn't wish anybody to be born blind because there's a chance that the person is happy as a blind person. So it's very pragmatic, this whole thing. You wouldn't wish for anybody to be blind. If I just saw a movie, the baby who was born dumb, like couldn't hear. Niv. The movie with the baby who was born dumb, the mother was desperate. And what did she do? She changed the baby in the hospital for a hearing one because she was a pianist. She wanted her son to be a pianist. He became a pianist. It's fiction. Luckily, it doesn't happen in life like this. It's a very strong movie, actually. But this is what I mean. It's, would any of us have a wish for somebody to be blind? Of course not. Can it be inspiring when we say, may the blind see forms? May the blind become seeing people. May the deaf, may their ears open so that they can hear. And blind see forms, may the deaf ears out. May those who are worn with toil be restored and find. May the tired and the worn out, may they find repose. It's a benevolent wish. That's it. More detailed than may you be happy, may you be well. Okay? But if you don't find it inspiring, I have a Christian friend also, she got very angry about this. What are you saying? Look at the world, how it is. And say, yeah. But at least I have a wish in my heart, and I strengthen that wish that it may not be like this.
Maybe a better way to say that is that we wish that they will not suffer from this.
That's what it says.
No, but I think that I forgot her name. She means that this is a fact, and all of us are with something that is lack or miss, and the wish is that we will not suffer from that.
Yeah.
And we will not have this fact or lack.
Yeah. That's what it is. An open heart to wish people well. And blindness and deafness and being tired and burnt out is not a cause for happiness. Definitely not. Also, seeing is not a cause for happiness, but you have more chance to be happy than being blind. It's all relative. Depends what you do with it. Do you understand what I mean? Or not really? Yeah. But really, anything that doesn't inspire you, leave it aside. These are just methods. The first time I read this thing, I started crying. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody would be happy? And then it's like, no, but they're not. Okay, what can I do? I can at least not harm them. Yeah, so these are the steps that you're making. And it is naive, yeah. Because the Buddha was asked this question, will there be a moment where everybody is free from suffering? He didn't answer. Not because he didn't know, but he said we wouldn't be able to take the answer, we don't understand the answer. Yeah. But do you believe that everybody at the base is good? Some do. What's the benefit when we believe in that? We start looking for it. And when I say everybody, it includes us.
And it gives you the ability to forgive everyone. It opens the door to forgiveness.
It opens the door to forgiveness also, yes, for example. Mm-hmm. Anybody else would like to comment on that? There's the lady with the glasses.
I actually wanted to ask about attachments. Is it okay to ask about the topics that we discussed today in general, or you want
Yeah. About attachment, sure.
So you talked a lot about attachment, differentiating between love and attachment to a person.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little bit more about also attachment to an outcome and failure?
Yeah. That's a good one. And I think it's such a shame in our society that we judge ourselves through the outcome and not through the effort that we're putting in. It's so sad. It's so sad that when we put a lot of effort but there's no good result, then we're not even happy anymore. But I did a good job. People just don't see that I did a good job. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, with the spiritual practice, you try to go beyond hopes and fears. Then again, we jump to the extreme. Okay, no more hope, then I'm not doing anything. No, but to take everything into consideration. It can be failure, and it can be success, but I still do it in a way. But when it's success, okay, success, great. If it's failure, try again. But is it Beckett who said, tried, failed? Tried, failed again. Tried again, failed again. Doesn't matter. Tried again, failed again. And as I'm failing, I learn to fail better.
There is a new book by Pema Chodron, fail good, fail better, fail again.
Exactly. So it's
It's a
Beckett
new
too.
book.
That's Beckett's thing. And we have a Swiss tennis player who has it on his arm. Stan Wawrinka. He has it tattooed on his arm. And he failed so many times. And now again he's failing. And he still continues to play. You know? He had like, I think 2 Grand Slams that he won. That was it. And for many, many years, it was always Roger. You know Roger Federer?
Yeah.
Okay, so that he was, playing from the same country as this guy who wins everything. It's like, but still, he just continued. And he has this motto on his arm. Failure is not a problem, but not being able to live with it, that is the problem. Judging ourselves through the outcome. You know, whether somebody likes, if you like what I'm saying or not, how much control do I have over that? 0. So if I get attached and I go to everybody, how did you like what I said? I get totally stressed. Yeah? You like it? I'm happy. You don't like it? Well, the door is open. Nobody forced you to come here. Now it's a bit more difficult because you can't go home. So you better be careful the next Yom Kippur retreat if you come. You better think twice. But as I said, thank you very much for coming. I'm always very touched when people come to listen to me because I always think like, you know. But also this, I've been put in this role without wanting to be here. But quite honestly, I don't want to be a teacher because I think I don't know anything and I don't know much. I started practicing Buddhism to practice because I found it helpful for my mind. I had a lot of fear always and a lot of aggression. And I didn't like myself that way. Yeah? And I see how this fear is very limiting. And so when I did my first retreat, in a hotel in Tamil, Kathmandu, it was by the Friends of the Western Buddhist Order. And it's the first time in my life I experienced a few moments of no fear. And before I hadn't even noticed how full of fear I am all the time. And so I thought like, wow, this is really interesting. Then when I read the book of His Holiness of the Dalai Lama, I shouldn't call him His Holiness, because how do I know if he's holy? I don't know. He's holy enough for me, but it's like, the Dalai Lama, my land and my people, I wasn't a Buddhist, but I read it and I was so impressed how he talks about the Chinese without any anger. I was so impressed, I was so inspired. I thought I want to learn more about this. Because I had the opportunity, and I'd already given up everything in Europe, been away from Europe for 3.5 years, so I just stayed and I practiced. And then people started to ask for teaching, so I thought like, oh, not really. Not because I don't want to share it. I'm very happy to share it one-to-one like this when people ask me. But then my teacher said, yeah, okay, go, so I went. So, but there's definitely a lot of teachers that are much better than I am. So like, but if there's something beneficial, all the better. If not, then it was a bit of a waste of time, but at least you didn't do anything negative. And we had some good laughs together, so that's also okay. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's like the self-confidence, I tried, I failed, I'm not the only one, let's try again. You see, sometimes I talk to students who are really studying very hard and they're so nervous about the exam that they actually fail because they're so nervous. And the way I talk to them, not to everybody, but when I know them and I know I can say this because I know they're not lazy, I say, look, if you fail, you will not be the first one who failed. You won't be the last one, and your life is not finished, it will continue. I mean, look, if I look at you, I'm pretty sure quite a lot of you people are intelligent people and you have good jobs and all this. That's how you look to me. Most of you. I left school, I was 15. I have zero, I was never in a university. I was once giving a talk. And I started the talk by saying, this is ridiculous. This is the first time I'm inside a university and I have to give a talk. I was like, you can be very happy without all this stuff. But it needs effort, and I'm really grateful to this spiritual practice that taught me to be happy To be okay, let's say, I'm not always happy. To be okay with what is. I also have moments I flip out and I get angry and all this, but it doesn't last very long in general. I still have panic attacks, by the way, and I learn to live with them, to accept them. It's okay. It's not I'm happy because I have no problems, but it's these problems don't disturb me so much anymore, because they're transient. One goes, the other one comes, you know. This whole thing about succeeding and success and being something, and wow, it puts so much pressure on us. When the first time I heard about bodhicitta also, because I was never very attractive, I was not super intelligent, also I was lazy. Also, I didn't really want to to study and all this. I always kind of slipped through, just barely, without needing to study actually, because I was too lazy. So, when I heard about bodhicitta, I thought, this is amazing. To generate this good heart for all beings, you don't need to be beautiful, you don't need to be super intelligent, you don't need any diplomas, you don't need to have gone to the university, you don't need to be fat or slim or tall or man or woman, whatever. It's available for everybody. Developing a good heart. Oh, it was great. Sometimes we always hold back. We want to do things, but then we don't have enough confidence. Yeah? So in order to be a bodhisattva, you need to have a lot of self-confidence. Because you fail all the time, you know. You don't want to be angry, then you get angry again, then you don't. It's like you don't want to be attached, and you see you're attached, you don't want to have any self-concern. The more you look, the more you see it. It's like, yeah, not so easy. I'm not saying I'm a bodhisattva at all. Yeah, so setting priorities in our life, really sitting down, what is important for me? To be famous? To be liked because, or to be loved, to be accepted because of what I do, or because of what I am? And if people choose not to like me, that's fine. I don't like everybody. So why should there not be some people who dislike me? It's okay. I give them the permission to do that. It's so relaxing. And sometimes also, you know, I saw myself always as a nothing and all this, and I do this meditation sometimes to really, what I mentioned today, that I sit down and I think, wow, so many beings in the universe, and I'm just a tiny, tiny, tiny particle of this. It's so liberating for me to think like this. I'm nobody. And there's a very nice story about this by Tsongsa Khyentse Rinpoche. He went to visit one of his dying students in a hospice. And next to that dying student, there was a truck driver, a very young truck driver also, who was dying. And he was happy. So Rinpoche was quite surprised, and he said, why are you so happy? You're dying. And he said, well, you know, the world is not going to miss me when I die. I'm nobody. I'm a truck driver. They will find somebody else to do my job. Wouldn't you like to go out of the world like this? You know, the world will not miss me when I go. We will be okay. Some people might miss you when you die, but not forever. The world will continue to exist without us. What do you think? Yeah. So like that. But yeah, you know, one can put a lot of effort into. So, okay, attachment. If we would have more attachment to be able to this, you see, if we would put as much effort into becoming compassionate as Roger Federer put into effort, and Stan Wawrinka and Nadal and all the others, maybe you see I'm a tennis fan, Murray and Djokovic and all those. If we would put enough time and effort into developing a good heart as they do, becoming tennis champions, we would all be wonderful people. It's all a matter of training and a matter of interest. Now, we can think, what is more valuable? Having a few millions, because they earn a lot of money. Having a few millions and, you know, then being afraid that, you know, the whole world. Now, the Swiss people, they think that Federer should win until he dies. You know, nobody sees that he's getting older. Then he had a comeback, and then he was, wow, he's back again, but now it's like, ugh. So there's this pressure that you have to succeed also from, if you want to have success, if you want to be liked. Yeah. And then that unhappiness when you don't. You know, being happy when you have success, that's very easy. But being happy when you don't have success, that is an accomplishment. Having compassion for yourself, looking at all the others who also fail, and think, you know, may I take all their bad feelings about failing upon me? I think that's an accomplishment. Yeah? Being the happy friar, for example. You see, when there's conflict between two people, one has to be the friar. So why not us? If you take that role voluntarily, no problem. If you're forced into that role, of course, then it's very difficult. And then, you know, but there's this paranoia in this country about being the friar that has been developed, and I think it creates a lot of suffering, to be honest. It creates a lot of conflict that is totally not necessary, just because I don't want to be the one who steps back. It's a shame, because you have so much good potential also. You have such good hearts here also. So, but with this anti-friar thing, it cannot come up. No, I'm not joking. It's like,
We talked
you know?
about it in the group.
Yeah, the anti-friar syndrome.
Yeah.
And it comes from Second World War.
Yeah.
This shall never happen to us again, you know. And then you carry this attitude with you also in places where it's absolutely not necessary. And it's a shame. It's absolutely a shame. So, yeah. So attachment. You see, when there is aspiration, motivation, and desire and attachment. So in general, in Buddhism, when you use the word desire and attachment, it's when it's negative, kind of you're attached to something that not necessarily makes you happy. Success. Yeah. When kind of you're running after a goal that you think it will give you what you want, meaning lasting happiness, but it doesn't. Whereas aspiration, motivation comes when it's something worthwhile. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be enlightenment. It can also be, I want to become a doctor because I really want to help others with their sickness. You can also have the aspiration, I want to become a doctor because, maybe not in this country, because then I earn a lot of money. So I hear that the doctors are really not paid well in this country if you work in a hospital. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Also, in Switzerland it's not so bad, and if you're a private doctor, then wow, you earn a lot of money. Yeah. So that's that. So not everything we want is attachment. So then it's very good also to use our intelligence and really to see our desires, our attachment, and then to ask, is it worthwhile to go after that? Yeah, like some women want to become Miss Universal. It's fine. But it's only for 1 year. The next one comes. Or the Eurovision Song Contest. That your country won. You know that one of your singers wins and then the whole country goes, wow! As if you are the singer.
Exactly.
Yeah. The song she had was very good. I liked very much. Yeah.
It's funny.
I liked very much. It was funny. It was also quite deep. And it came at the right time. It really came at the right time. I hope all the guys listened to what she said. And you hear the message. You stupid boy, I'm not your toy. I think it's also a bit my love for Israel that I listened to it a few times. It was in Finland, I probably wouldn't have paid any attention. Because I don't know Finland. So like that. Okay, do you have any other questions? Yeah. Oh, you have to speak loud behind there, yeah?
I have a question about empathy.
Yeah.
When you were talking about street
People who live in the street? Or
street retreat.
Ah, yeah.
Yes. You said that in order to have empathy, you have to have an idea of the suffering of the people.
Not necessarily, but when you have lived through it, then it probably comes naturally.
Yeah. So, if you are going the Buddhist way and you practice, and then you leave every attachment, and then you can feel suffer. You don't suffer when you